Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you so much to the leadership team for giving me this opportunity. I know that diversity is very important to all of us here at Google. We just heard from Sundar that, there's three values of Google, and the third one is respect to each other, which clearly talks about diversity. We also heard from Todd yesterday that Canales has a lot of goals around diversity and inclusion, and I just want to point out that these goals are not only for the leadership team, these are goals for everyone. So if you allow me, I just want to talk about this diversity and inclusion from a very personal point of view. So for those who don't know me, my name is Karina Canales. Actually, Canales is the Spanish word for channel, so I was so meant to be here. And I know it is very hard to tell, but I do have an accent. And that is because I'm from Lima, Peru. Are there any Peruvians? No? Okay, let's skip this moment. And I grew up in this small town 2 hours south from Lima, where, people that never dreamed to pursue college education or, never dreamed to even leave the town. But I was lucky enough to have parents who will always tell me, I'm sorry. Sorry, it's not you. I was watching a telenovela before I came here. So I was very lucky to have parents who always told me that there was nothing impossible and that I have to always pursue my dreams. And well, my dream was always technology. And I spent my childhood spending all my allowances in renting computers in cyber cafes. Some of you know what cyber cafes are. And by the time I was 13 years old, I already made my first website. And by the time I was 15, instead of the traditional quinceañera, I actually asked my parents to buy me a computer. They could only afford a second-hand computer, but it was the best present I ever had. And thank you, you're so cute. You can talk to each other. Thank you. And so by the time I have to go to college, I spent 1 year of my life to just prepare for this college, because in Peru, this college was the hardest to enter. It was a public one. It's actually harder to enter to this college than Harvard for the rate of admission. So I spent 1 year of my life just focusing on getting to this college, and I was lucky to get in, and so I got to free public education, and I studied my dream, systems engineering, computer science. And when I graduated, I actually worked in business intelligence and then in digital marketing. I was an LCS Google client. And I love Google. I love working with Google. I love being a Google client. But I love Google even before then. I was actually featured in one of these blogs, technology blogs, for being one of the first 5 Peruvians having the Nexus One. And that's why I saved my money. And in 2012, I remember I came to Mountain View, to the main campus. I went there just because I wanted to visit Google. There were these Android statues, very cute. And for me, it was a dream come true. And I have my friend with me, and he was translating the whole thing, but I was asking random people, how can I do to work here? And so people basically suggested me to study an MBA. And because, it's much easier to get a sponsor for visa, and at the same time, there is this MBA internship program at Google. So I did that. And so I went back to Peru, decided to learn English, which I had no idea. So I learned English, then I got ready to apply to an MBA. I chose Wharton, and luckily Wharton chose me. I actually put in my Wharton essays that I wanted to study the MBA to work at Google. And well, now I'm here. And You know, I feel like Google is amazing at providing these equal opportunities, because without these equal opportunities, I wouldn't even be here. And in the past year, I also wanted to spread this message and to tell everybody that, you know, it doesn't matter. Sorry. I see you crying. Start laughing, okay? Yes, I've been working with Google, you know, for media campaigns, and I've been part of this Tecnolochicas campaign for Latinas, for small girls, to tell them exactly, you know, that it's possible, because I'm here, and so if you dream with, you know, technology, if you dream with, you know, working in the core of the technology in any engineering or STEM career, and if you put a lot of effort, you can truly make it. And so clearly diversity to me is very important. But this is one very piece about diversity, that is providing these equal opportunities. I also want to mention that as important as that is, once we bring all of these people to work here, how do I still make them to feel included? And you know, in my first day at Google, I think I was like flying around. It was my dream come true. And after some time, I started also facing some other challenges. And you know, I fell behind since the beginning, because my entire experience was in Spanish. And I just didn't know a lot of the terms and stuff. And I'm, you know, systems engineer. I was also a Google client. So clearly I have a lot of things to say, but I just didn't know how to. And I do remember this time when I was reviewing a presentation with Ben, and you know, we were reading a slide together, and I was like, blah, 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 and then I say API, and then was like, what? And I was like, API, and he was like, oh, this is API. And I was like, and I was like, wait, is that what you guys have been talking about all this time? Because, I mean, I can make one API, I know that, but I just couldn't, you know, show off my knowledge. So at the beginning, it was very frustrating. And happy. And you know, my accent can also be, you know, I know it's sexy, but can also be a problem sometimes. But can also be a problem sometimes. I also remember this meeting with John Sofield, and you know, we used to sit very close to each other, so we will spend one-on-ones, you know, just like brainstorming, and we both are very jealous, so we just wander around. And we were talking about opportunities, and I've been talking for 20 minutes about the healthcare opportunity, you know, hospitals, healthcare. And then I don't know how, but I wrote on the whiteboard healthcare, and then his reaction was like, wait, have you been talking about healthcare the entire time? And he thought I was talking about healthcare or something like that, which is a European software. We laughed so hard, we had to reschedule the meeting, true story. And I'm sure you might be thinking that all of these challenges are just because, you know, I'm not from here and I came from a different country, but I'm sure that all of us have challenges like that when, you know, we encounter people with different communication styles, or, you know, just people who might say things that you weren't expecting, etc. And I also have challenges like those, because I have a particular communication style that is different to everybody, you know, kind of like be shocking at sometimes. So I were in meetings where, you know, people made very direct comments, or they were, you know, in a rush to make a decision, and probably they just didn't evaluate in deep all of the ideas, etc. So to me, that was also very shocking, and I cannot even tell you all the times when, you know, I was like, okay, and the meeting was over, and then I just kind of like went to a corner and started crying. I was like, I'm never gonna make it in Channel 6, and I'm never gonna make it in the US, I'm never gonna make it in Google. But then I started thinking, I was like, but after all I went through, if I go back to my country, that only will mean that I fail. So that was also not an option to me. And I was lucky enough to have amazing friends who gave me their shoulder, but they also encouraged me to speak up. And so I tried to change my own mentality. And I do remember the first time I spoke up, And it was after one meeting where this person was talking about, how he likes to connect with women in general, and he likes to work with women, etc. And during his speech, he mentioned something like, because I'm also sensitive. So I wait to the meeting to be over, because that's very important. Always praise in public and criticize in private. So I went to the meeting to be over. And then I reached out to this person. I was like, sorry, I know you didn't mean it. I know it wasn't intentionally, but unconsciously you kind of stereotype women by saying that. And his reaction was amazing. He thanked me. He was like, oh my God, you're right. Thank you for letting me know and for opening my eyes. And after that, I learned two very important things. One is that you just can't go to your corner and cry and wait for things to change. And the second one is that, speaking up is very important, but it's as important as people receiving this feedback in a good way and being open to this feedback. Because if this person would have reacted in a different way, that would probably be the last time I spoke up. And so, I also had other opportunities where I reached out to my friends and were like, or teammates, and were like, sorry, I just want to check, how do you feel with me in general? How do you feel working with me? And some of the answers surprised me, and I think that's okay, because that means that I'm learning, and now I'm much more mindful when I, work with these people and do what I say or how do I do stuff. And I think that is important. And I want to say that through all of this, I always assume good intention, and I know that that is a Google guideline. But good intentions are not enough, because good intentions are not going to change how we felt after these things happen. So I do want to take this moment to challenge you all, to take accountability for how you feel working here, but as well for how you make other people feel. And while doing that, to being open to all of this feedback. Let's be more mindful of others. Let's spend 5 minutes in the pod meeting, even though you have agendas, but 5 minutes of doing a round table and asking everybody, hey, what is on your top of mind? Maybe something crazy is happening with one partner. Maybe something happens, personally. Maybe, I don't know, something else is going on. And if you're one of us as well, and just ask this other person, how do you feel? How do I make you feel? And also speak up if you have something to say. And I feel that by creating this culture of, being open to feedback and speaking up, we can change a lot of things and we can accomplish all of these goals. And I invite everybody to, do that, starting from directors to pod leads to individual contributors. Because I'm going to say something to finish my speech, and I hope I don't get fired for saying this, but in 10, 15, 20 years from now, none of us are going to remember what our quota was. But all of us are going to remember how we felt working in channel sales. Thank you.